Making holiday cards with lots of layers and embellishments is so much fun, and it's great for family and close friends. But when you have to mass produce lots of holiday cards in a hurry, you may want to try this simply elegant ornament card. Let me show you the tools and products you're going to need to make this card project. First, you're going to need some ink, and I'm using the Gina Design's Christmas Pine ink. Then you're going to need some stamps, and the two stamps that I'm using are from the New Season's Greetings StampTV kit. I'm using the Elegant Ornament stamp, and then I'm using one of the Merry Christmas Greetings. You're also going to need some cardstock, and I'm using the Gina Design's white cardstock and some of our Christmas Pine, along with some of our Christmas Pine ribbon. So, to begin, oh, and I also have a Sakura Stardust pen to do a little bit of glitter detail. So to begin, I have this piece of cardstock here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to ink up the Christmas ornament using some of the Christmas Pine ink. Now this is more of a solid stamp, so you do want to make sure that you really get it inky. Now when you're doing a row of ornaments, one way to make it as even as possible is to start by doing the ornament in the center first. And you can see I have this stamp lined up on the line of this acrylic block. You can see that there are lines on the block. So I'm going to stamp this one in the middle, and I'm going to stamp it down a little bit lower. I'm just eyeballing it, and I'm going to stamp it right about there. Now this does not have to be perfect. You can have a little bit more on one side, a little bit more on the other side. And one way to avoid having to have them perfectly straight in a line is to stagger the heights. So the next one that I'm going to do, I'm going to put up pretty high. And I'm just going to kind of judge from the distance of the edge of the cardstock to where the stamp is, and then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side to get them pretty close to even. So I'll do this one here, like that. And then the next one I'm going to do about the same distance on the other side, but I'm going to make it go up even higher. So this way those heights are all staggered, and it won't really matter if they're perfectly even or not. So there we go. 3 Christmas ornaments. Then I'm going to add this Merry Christmas greeting to the bottom, but I do want to make sure that I leave enough room for my ribbon. So the best way to do that is to place the ribbon where you think you're going to want it and not stamp above it. So there is my Merry Christmas greeting, and I will put that, excuse my head if it gets in the way, right about there. Now my next step is to add some ribbon, and ribbon is a great embellishment when you're mass producing cards and when you're mailing a lot of cards. I know some of you hand deliver your more bulky cards, but when you're mass producing and mailing, you want to keep the costs down. So ribbon doesn't really add much bulk to your card. So I'm going to apply this ribbon, but because it's just a piece of ribbon going across, I really want it to stick to the full face of the card. So I'm going to run my tape runner, my mono adhesive, across the whole piece of ribbon. And then I'm going to stick that into place, like that. And then I can wrap it around the back. Now that ribbon will lay nice and flat, and it won't move around on my card. You can see how nice that is. Now I'm going to apply this panel to my card base, but before I do that, I'm going to actually put it on the pine, the Christmas Pine green first, and then onto the card base. But before I do that, I'm going to add a little bit of glitter. Let's just adhere these two pieces together first. And you know I always like to put a little tape on the back of my ribbon so it doesn't come up. And we'll get these two pieces together. There we go. Now, I want to add some glitz and glimmer. There's a lot of ways that you can do this. You can do this with Stickles glitter glue. Maybe you have some loose fine glitter and a quickie glue pen or some other type of glue. Those are all great. But if you're in mass production mode and you really want it to move fast, the Sakura Stardust pen is really great because it dries in just a couple of minutes. So, to do this, I'm going to start with, this is going to be very simple. I'm just going to take a dot of sparkle and put it into the center of each of these little tiny snowflakes that make up this ornament. And you can see I'm just dabbing this glitter because it flows out like a liquid. I'm just dabbing it into the center of each one of these little snowflakes. And Sakura Stardust Pen is very interesting. Depending on the lighting, it might not look like too much, but if you get it into sunlight or you get it into overhead lighting in a kitchen or in a living room, that soft lighting, boy, it really looks pretty. I'm going to put a little dot there and one dot on the end of each of this ribbon. Now, you can probably see the sparkle there when I turn it. You can see that little bit of shimmer and shine. I'm going to finish up the other ones. And you can do just the bigger snowflakes, or you can take your time and do every single little snowflake. It's totally up to you. But this does go very quickly. And again there, and on each end. You can see how quickly you can do these. So if you're making a card like this and you want to mass produce it, say you need to make 50 or 100 of them, cut all your pieces first and then do all your stamping next. Attach all your ribbon and layer, and then find a nice place on the sofa with a good television show on and you can do all of your sparkling. Once that all dries, then you can just add them to your card bases and you are ready to send your cards. So there is that finished glitter and glitz. So pretty on there. And then this is going to adhere right to my card base. And so once this is all dry, and it doesn't take very long to dry, it dries almost instantly, then you can flip it over, add a little bit of tape to the back, and then add that to your white 120-pound white card base. And there is my finished card project. To step this card up a notch, try embossing the Christmas ornaments in gold or silver and use metallic cardstock, or edge the layers with Versamark and embossing powder to create extra sparkle on this simple layout.